Oh, it's so nice to have a blood-curdling shriek as you walk onto stage. There we go! Action adventure! So, I've spent a lot of the last 6 months trying to find a way to kind of say this in a relatively comedic manner, with, it must be said, fairly limited success. So, tonight I'm just going to come out and say it. I have cancer. That's not a joke, but the rest of it will be. It's kind of weird having to put a disclaimer at the front of your set, but as I've discovered, cancer can be a reasonably polarising comedy subject matter. Who would have thought? I think the best was after my Raw semi-final a few months back, and after getting up on stage and delivering a 6-minute set of largely anecdotal material about having cancer and receiving chemotherapy while bald, my friend went out to the parking lot and overheard some guy talking to his mate who said, "And can you believe that guy pretending to have cancer? What do you want from me? X-rays? I can give you X-rays!" I just think it's fucking hilarious, because what is this guy's expectation of people with cancer? Death? Some of us do pull through, you know. We're fighters, but we do. Oh. But anyway, enough of that. Cancer, funnier than it sounds, as you may already have worked out. Because this isn't just cancer. Not for me. This is actually 2 separate cancers in 22 years. Yes. First at 11, second at 22. At 33, I plan on exploding at a party of friends and loved ones. Just to really drive the point home. One of the funniest things about having cancer as a kid, though, and there are obviously many funny things, is the way in which you become like the poster children of the paediatric world. I mean, there ain't nothing glamorous about anorexia, but you give a newspaper an 11-year-old without hair, and they will lose their shit. I've only once got my photo in the paper, and I was a cancer-stricken 11-year-old, and I was wheeled out in my wheelchair to be the poster boy for the new for the new recreational wing of the hospital. Of course, I could never actually use the new recreational wing of the hospital because I wasn't allowed to play with the other children due to the risk of infection. I mean, I looked happy, but maybe that was just because I was outside. Heart melting! He's such a fighter! It's great, folks. My school pressed their consocks, didn't really know how to react. So I was in year 8 and they invented a new award specifically for me. The Mary Ward Award, apparently awarded to the student who best emblematized the values of the 16th century nun, Mary Ward. Sincerity, compassion, justice. I was 11. I was still struggling to get into pants in the morning without falling over. The only form of justice I really believed in could probably best be described as extreme and used to be articulated through video games that allowed you to decapitate aliens with a chainsaw. Just as Mary Ward would have wanted. I think the entire experience, though, also opened up one of my best ever moments when I was walking across, started chemotherapy, my hair started to fall out, so we shaved it down to about this length, and I was walking across the yard at lunch when Mr. Ritchie, the slightly smarmy chemistry teacher, beckons me over. And there is triumph in his eyes and a detention in his voice, and he looks down on me and he says, "Do you have permission to have your hair that short?" I have cancer. The pause that followed was loaded. I like to think that Mr. Ritchie could see his career collapsing under the weight of angry parents and outraged local newspaper headlines. So he casts about to try and find something to neutralise this situation, anything to make it better, and after about 6 seconds worth of silent staring, which is about this awkward, Mr. Ritchie, finally, after all that thinking, comes back with, "Well, good luck with that." Oh, you're all hard, Mr. Ritchie, you're all hard. Cancer treatments are what they used to be, though. It's actually been a really straightforward run this time, and about the only thing that seems to mark me from the rest of you mere mortals is the whole lack of hair thing. But even with that, thanks to my fabulously well-shaped skull, people keep on assuming that I shaved my head by choice, which I quite obviously didn't. Handy hint though, don't tell people who are having chemotherapy that their bald head looks so good that they should keep it bald once they're done. Might be considered a tad insensitive. My God, Tiffany, that amputation looks simply fabulous on you. Oh, no, it looks much better than your regular leg. Is that lipstick on the end? No, just burst veins? Ravishing. Although unlike Tiffany, I get my hair back at the end of it all. One up on the amputees. Boy, that was alienating. These days though, I'm just fucking terrified of being mistaken for a white power supporter. In an I Love Macrame t-shirt. They're out there! But I do feel like I'm in a kind of safe world with comedy though, because the number of balding and deliberately bald people in the comedy scene seems to be only rivaled by that of the porn industry. Although, considering that most of my pubic hair has fallen out, that could also be an option. Cancer porn. It's a niche. Getting there! Thing is, for me, getting cancer has actually been somewhat of a bittersweet experience because, I mean, on the one hand, well, it is quite obviously cancer. But on the other hand, as a white, upper-class, well-educated male from the western suburbs, I had been struggling to make my comedy distinctive. No, goddammit! Anyway, just so you don't remember me as that sad sack with cancer, I'll leave you with some sort of fond childhood memories of mine. My brother's first word was fuck. Don't think that was on my parents' game plan. My dad, who has been known to occasionally get fly with a volley of the word fuck, apparently much more than he does now. Because at the tender age of 1, as Dad's trying to get Liam's babysitting into place, Liam sees his opportunity to try out a bit of new vocab and bracingly utters the word fuck. To my mother's endless delight. As a result though, I grew up in this slightly more G-rated household than my brother did, but I'm pretty sure my mother started overcompensating for earlier errors. Because there I was at the age of 5 watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when Shredder, in a fit of dad-like frustration, slams his fist down and yells out the word, "What?" This seemed like an interesting reaction to have, so I went to my mother and asked her about it. "Mum, what does what mean?" Probably should have realised considering I'd already used it in a sentence. But... soul clap, yeah! But my mother, without missing a beat, turns to me and reliably informs me that what is in fact a swear word. Yes, that's right. What, one of the most common words in the English language, became a swear word. I was trying to be all tough and raise hell at school and shit. Everyone just thought I was partially deaf. I mean, I presume my mother's rules were intended to be context specific, but at the time I kind of struggled with the distinction between what is used in an everyday sense and what is used by a purple-caked supervillain named after an office appliance. Of course, at the time, becoming a purple-caked supervillain named after an office appliance was still a realisable career prospect, so I think the boundaries were a little bit hazy there. But as a lifelong ramification, I still say, "I beg your pardon," instead of what? Which is sexy. I've been told. By my grandmother. Come to think of it, that was a really odd conversation. Anyway guys, that's about it from me. I'll leave you there. Cheers.